we have more Amstrad Action, as per usual this time of the week. We're continuing on through issue number 69. As we can see, the next game is Narc by Ocean, $10.99 cassette, $15.99 disc. The sprites from Legoland are on the march. Pick up any stray cash or drugs as evidence that may mean passers by. Last year, the arcade world was taken by storm. Coin-op manufacturer Williams, a company famous for its early classics like Defender, Joust, and Stargate, released a brand new machine. Narc featured incredible graphics, sampled soundtrack, and more blood and guts than any coin-op. The worthy anti-drug sentiments of late had been taken to the extreme in this coin-op. You take the role of a law enforcement officer bent on bringing drug trafficking to a standstill. How does this officer set about the task? Does he liaise with the local youth? Does he lobby members of local government? Does he hold a sponsored walk? No, he shoots everybody. Armed to the teeth with machine gun and rocket launcher, he heads to the streets and starts killing people. His target, though, is one person in particular, the head of the Mr. Big Corporation, headed by the insidious and evil Mr. Big. Mr. Big has made a whole pile of cash from human misery and despair, the devil. If you want to bring him to justice, you have to make your way through 10 levels of horizontally scrolling action before the final front confrontation with his royal fatness. Your fully tooled up copper can loose off bursts of machine gun fire or do serious damage with a rocket launcher. He can jump or crouch to avoid enemy fire, and if he happens to find one, he can drive around in a very well armed Porsche. The enemy present themselves in various guises. They all have one thing in common, however. They are all spaced out on mind-bending drugs. Watch out especially for the crazed PCP addicts. The PCP they've consumed has given them superhuman strength. You'll have to shoot the crazy suckers several times before they drop. Rabid dogs attack at various intervals too, chewing your vital bits and pieces. They can be tricky to shake off. Ouch. And their owners attack while the dogs have you occupied. Evidence in the form of cash and drugs can be picked up along the way for extra points. Extra ammo and rockets can also be found littering the streets. The enemy has some fairly pokey weaponry, including a helicopter gunship, and things can get very tough. Okay. In single player mode, some sections are dang near impossible, but a second player can join in at any time. The game uses a joystick to control player 1 and keyboard for player 2. However, both need to access the keyboard to jump or crouch, and this makes things very difficult. The graphics are at times ill-defined and confusing, although the intro screens are spectacular. The sound and music are nice, but the overall effect is not good. Bullets are often invisible against the garish backgrounds, and some of the sprites are really not far short of diabolical. Almost all the features of the original have been included in this version, but the game only really comes into its own in two-player mode. Narc is a nice attempt at converting a brilliant coin-op, but nothing special. First day target score, drive the Porsche. Second opinion. Narc the coin-op relied heavily on the stunning graphics. Unfortunately, this has not come across too well. The screen gets very cluttered and confused, and the action is slowed to a snail's pace. Oh no. The verdict. Graphics 67%, colourful and bright, but far too confusing. Watch out for the chunky sprites. Sonic's 80%, perfectly adequate in-game effects backed up by some meaty tunes. Grab factor 60%, disappointing graphics and little to gain your attention. Staying power 61%, 10 levels, but all very similar and very boring. Rating 60%, below average conversion of an impressive looking but mediocre coin-op. I thought the coin-op was brilliant. Make up your mind. Ah. Let's get this started. we go. Narc. No one had the guts until now. A Cell Scoop production program by David Leitch and Sean McClure. Music and effects, sound images. Well, they've got the high score. Look at that. SNK? Oh, there's more high scores. How many of these are there? Oh, good, there's only 20. Select controls. Power 1 keyboard, power 1 joystick keyboard. Okay. Play a game. Image matches a Sloth Gang member. Press the buttons. Investigate pipeline hideout. Scaling. Loading mission 1. Oh, here's that dude. There we go. Yeah. Crouch. Crouch. Hey, jump in. Arrest him. Arrest. There you go. Just crouch walk everywhere, it's fine. Arrest. Hey, no sound in game, huh? What's he doing? Arrest him. Arrest it. Oh, and there we go. Arrest him. There we go. Arrest him. Oh. Ow. Alright, that's one life down. Rest him. Rest him for crouch shooting. Dogs. Just like the arcade, the dogs turn small when you shoot them. No idea why that is. It just happens. Yeah. Oh. Okay, never mind. Evidence bonus. An extra 20, every 20,000, I guess. Or did it seem to be? Dr. Spike Rush, Chemist and Pusher. Beep, beep, beep. Bust him. Destroy secret drugs lab. Loading mission 2. There's a rocket over there. Jump, wee! Can't jump and shoot. Oh, he's dead. Oh, jeez. Another rocket over here. Rest him. Rest him. Go rest that guy then, that's fine. Oh, jeez. Wow. And then... Oh, God. Bust him. Here we go. I'm trying to think how we fire the rockets. We've certainly got plenty of them. Oh, yeah. There's a rocket. And here we go. Go. Continue. Oh, jeez. I had the bullets. Oh, no, no. Oh, again, break the backgrounds. Oh, I died. Do we have the thing on? I guess we do. Evidence bonus. Joe Rockhead, aka Dumpster Man. Beep, 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 beep. PCP addict. Proceed with caution. Loading mission 3. Ooh. Oh, bonk. Oh, oh, ow. Jeez. Oh, God. Ow, ow. Jeez. We got a Porsche. Jump in the Porsche. Put it in the damn thing. Is he trying to... I don't get it. Here we go. Splat. Can I not pick up items in the Porsche? Oh no, dumpsters are movable objects. Make a note of that one. Oh, dogs again. Jump. Oh jeez. Oh geez, you just touch the dumpsters and it just die. I had to throw rockets. Not that way, apparently. There you go. That worked. You jump the cannon, immediately wrecks. That's perfect. And you die, of course. Oh, just get out of there. These guys are annoying. It was not long enough, apparently. Ah! No, 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 dead. Missed. Oh, jeez. It does come out. Really long time. Oh. Let's get in the car. Here's another one right here. Don't touch. Shoot him! Shoot him! Okay, apparently you're too close to shoot the dog. Yeah, frame rate's a little rough. No sound either, which doesn't help much. Here you go, here's your... Another rocket, I've got to get that rocket. Only got 3 left somehow. Pick it up. Another car coming up. Ooh. Oh, there's another one. Another dumpster. Don't watch out for the dumpsters. They'll kill you. Oh. Oh. Duck. Oh, there's another one. Yeah. Boom. Bust him. There we go. Shoot him. Oh, we near the end finally. We're near the end. We're at the end. Took long enough. And go in. Oh yeah, yeah. Ah. Next. Oh, is it Narc Disc Side B? Visual identification. Kinky Pinky. I think you cut him off a bit there. I think you're pointing the camera too high there. Protect the innocent. We've heard that before. Rating mission 4. Shoot, for God's sake, shoot, man. XXX. Ask credit. Oh, God, get out of there. Oh, God. Oh, oh, good. Oh no. There you go. Eat that clown. Where are all these bullets coming from? Oh, thing, haven't we? After we go in the door, doesn't it? Is it not this one? Oh, it is that one. Oh, because obviously. Oh, God. You're ganging up on me. Ow. Well, now we go in that door, right? Evidence bonus. Didn't really get much evidence, huh? Huh? Next stage. Captain Sky High. Known cultivator. Harvest time. Enjoy. Running mission 5. Ow. Game over. Aw. Shoot, knock this one side, eh? Press spacebar. Hey, I don't know how you can get 144,000 if you just finish the game. We'll move on. Next game is Back to the Future Part 3 by Imageworks, $10.99 cassette, $14.99 disc. This is complicated. What happened is this. Intrepid temporal explorers Marty and Doc have successfully gone back to 1955 to stop the unscrupulous Biff from fiddling with the future. But on the way back, the magic DeLorean is hit by lightning. Marty gets stranded in 1955, the Doc disappears, and then turns up in 1855 and becomes a blacksmith. So Marty goes back to rescue him, and they both find he, Doc, has been killed, or will have been killed in a few days' time. Actually, it helps if you've seen the film, if anything will help. Back to the Future 3 is split into 4 sections. In level 1, Clara the schoolteacher is on a runaway buckboard heading towards a precipice, and you, playing the part of Doc, must charge after her on horseback. Okay, look, we've got that image of them, of the two of them. Fall off your horse too many times though, and you won't make it, and Clara's 6 feet under. Ha ha. Level 1 comes in 4 sections. First of all, you get a horizontally scrolling scene from the side section where Doc is galloping across the desert to save the softy schoolteacher. In his way, though, are large rocks and trunks that have fallen from the buckboard. And you have to make Doc's horse jump just at the right moment if you're not to go sliding across the desert on your hooter. Other hazards include flying creatures, arrows, smaller rocks. And shoot these if you're quick enough, or duck. Get through this stage and you enter a viewed from above section where you race through a canyon dodging bullets and arrows as the cavalry and the engines fight it out. Oh boy. Get through that and it's off on another side on gallop. The final section is viewed from above again. You're galloping through Hill Valley just as the cavalry are taking on bad guy Buford and his gang. Level 2 is very different. You're not saving school teachers anymore, but shooting ducks and cardboard cutouts in a shooting gallery. You control Marty's trigger finger and a set of on-screen crosshairs, trying to blast everything in sight as soon as it appears. Level 3 has you pie throwing instead of duck shooting. Buford's gang pop their heads out of doorways and windows in the main street, and it's up to you to flatten them with well-lobbed pie cases. Hit a baddie 3 times and he's down for good. Mind you, all the time you're trying to down those crusty baddies with the pies, they're shooting real bullets at you. Get through the pie throwing and you've made it to level 4. Here you have to run along a steaming train, trying to pick up the speed logs left behind by the dock. Each one increases the train's speed. Vital because it's being pushed along right at the front is the trusty DeLorean, which you have to get up to 88 miles per hour so that you can make your escape. The graphics are a world away from the ghastly mono-spicky ports of Back to the Future 2, thank goodness. They're all done in mode 0 and they're a bit blocky, but there's plenty of colour, and the horse on level 1, for example, is really well drawn and animated. It's a pity then that the same horse seen from above and the other sections look like a tap dancing log. But there we are. Sound is good too, there's not too much by way of in-game effects, but the tunes are really excellent. Back to the Future 3 is much better than its predecessor. The gameplay in each section is not exactly taxing, but the 4 levels go together to make a pleasing whole. It's tricky enough too to keep you going for quite a while, unless you're loading from tape, in which case it'll drive you spare. Yep, the game's a multi-load. Tape users will end up tearing their hair out. Most moviegoers reckon Back to the Future 2 was a pile of old hoo-ha, while Back to the Future 3 was really good. The same applies to Mirrorsoft's licenses. Back to the Future 3 is no classic, but it's well put together, enjoyable, and challenging. First day talent score, complete level 1. Second opinion. Microsoft has done a far better job with Back to the Future 3 than with the game's predecessor. Varied and tricky levels, decent graphics, and jolly good fun. Verdict. Graphics 75%, very blocky but colourful and nicely animated. Sonic's 88%, no prizes for in-game effects, but great tunes. Graph factor 73%. Odd game style at first and disappointing overhead sections. Staying power is 83%. A good solid license that will keep you going, but not on tape. Rating 78%. It's fun, varied, and quite playable. No classic, but a nice little license. Huh? Okay. Loading. Loading. Probe production of Back to the Future Part 3. Number 8, right. Created by Keith Purple. Hot disk with the side B and press space. Ready? Loading. 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 Back to the Future 3, published by Microsoft, programmed by Keith Software, produced by Probe Software. Who's this Keith Software person? Choose controls. Joystick. Does it continue? Start game. Oh, there they are. The buckboard's out of control. It's heading for the ravine. Oh no! Help! Ow! Wrong. Oh. Fire does not jump. I should expect that by now. Up is jump. Oh. Let me figure out the controls before you start trying to kill me, right? Oh. I can't react fast enough. Well, that was a good start. Loading, gotta reload it once you finish. Here lies Clara Clayton, died September 5th, 1855. Teacher for a day, fell into Clayton Ravine. Oh, just had to load that in there. I'm getting a bit saddle sore, but it's worth another try. It's not a day's work, but at least I'm getting paid. Can't shoot folders. That didn't work, huh? I guess I was too late on that, huh? There's going to be a lot of memorization. Look, it's failed to catch up with the unfortunate lady. Both her and the carriage are spilled into the ravine. Oh dear! Oh. Oh boy. Get it, Doc. I'll do it. No, I'll try again. Oh no, not again! Is that right? Oh no. Oh, up the jump on fire! God damn it. I keep thinking fire will... Up the jump. And we're civilized. Jump. That's too late. I see items and I want to pick them up. Oh. Okay. Probably just only nighttime or something. Doctors failed to catch up the unfortunate lady, both her and the carriage are spilled into the ravine. Oh dear. I don't even know what happened there. Okay, first stage is not long. It's something. Time to redo it. I'm getting a bit sore, but it's worth another try. Oh no, not again! Oh, you can shoot it. Oh, late on it again. Can't duck that. Not sure how you avoid it. Oh, I was too late on that. Shot. Oh. Controls. controls there. Oh god, see that guy? Oh, fell off again. I wish I was Mary Poppins! Okay. Calm down. Jeez. That sounds cool, but it's worth another try. All a day's work, but at least I'm getting paid. I restart that now. Restart. Quit. Quit. Try it again. What? How am I supposed to avoid that? Where's another horse behind me? Shot. Loading. Gotta load. Okay, I don't know what that was. What does that do to me? Arrgh! No, no, I'll try again. No, no, not again. That's pretty much what I'm thinking right now. No, no, not again. Oh, for God's sake, why can't I? Oh, for God's sake! One of day's work. I can't duck those. They don't shoot fast enough. Oh, good. Ugh. Jump. That might be too early. That might be lightning. I don't know how you're supposed to avoid that. Did it? I wish I was Mary Poppins. One more go. No, not again. Duck. Duck and shoot. Loading. Oh, shotgun. Who's got these options here? What? Ah, yeah, it's my feelings. Okay, we'll move on. Roscar Clayton died September 5th, 1855. Teacher for a day, fell into Clayton Ravine. Uh, next game. It's got adverts to start with, obviously. Multi-face Tuesday. Special offer. Now a genuine Amstrad disc-driven interface for your CPC 464 at an affordable price. Only $89.99. Complete including courier delivery, save over £60. Free 6 discs full of games. Yeah. Also available for the new 464 Plus. Only at £9 for adapter. And Klax. It's an exam with cartridge version. By Domark, $24.99 cartridge. The easy little things are quite slow and sedate. However, don't get too cocky too early. Things have a frightening tendency to speed up rapidly. At last, Atari's sexy puzzling coin-op finally makes it onto the console, and the Plus range for that matter. The original arcade machine was one of a plethora of Tetris rip-offs. Actually, rip-off may be a little harsh, as Klax is a very good game in its own right. The question is, how good is the GX4000 version? The game involves stacking tiles at the bottom of the screen as they fall towards you. Sound familiar? The parallels between Klax and Tetris are easy to spot, but the differences are just as important. Instead of assembling shapes, as you do in Tetris, you must stack rows of corresponding colours. The colours must be piled either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally, and a row of at least 3 tiles of the same colour is a Klax. Making a complete Klax makes these tiles vanish, giving you more room on the limited stacking box. Although it is often easy to make such a stack, the computer has ways of making things difficult. At the start of each screen, a set target will be given. It could be as simple as 3 Klaxes. Klaxes? Klaxi? Klaxies? But it could be something a lot more difficult, like 5 diagonals or 10 Klaxes. Often the computer will give you a large target score to beat, and it will allow you to see the next level. The tiles are grabbed as they fall by the small paddle you control. You then move the paddle to the column you wish to place your captured tile in. Press the fire button and the tile drops into place. The paddle can hold up to 5 tiles at once, although dropping them in the right place in the right sequence is another matter. If things start getting on top of you, you can flip the topmost tile back onto the track, giving you either breathing space or strategic placement. Great fun can be had by trying to get huge bonuses, by getting large Klaxes, or by making difficult shapes, like the near impossible X. Secret warps to higher levels are available, but things get very difficult very quickly. The graphical quality in Klax is of a very decent standard. The tiles tumble convincingly enough, and there are some pretty backgrounds to keep you amused. The colours, very important in this game, work exceptionally well, but can be a little confusing when a lot is happening at once. The sound is limited to the bangs and clanks of the tiles. A special mention should be given to the Klax anthem. It stinks! It's not big, it's not clever, and nobody thinks that the person who came up with this mind-numbingly irritating tune is hard or cool. Let's go around to his house and smash all his windows. It really is that bad. The gameplay is fun, sometimes great fun, but is marred by the exaggerated inertia imposed on your paddle, a feature which was not so heavily emphasized in the arcade original. Klax has the kind of long-lasting appeal that will make you want to come back for more, time and time again. A worthy contender to the Tetris throne, but it does have its problems. One of which is the price. We reviewed Klax on the ordinary CPCs a while back and looked forward to glee with the console version. All excited we were, screaming in our seats. Uncle Rod had to tell us to sit still and behave. Finally it arrived, and believe it or not, they are both absolutely identical. Not one noticeable difference, no change in speed, colour or sound. So you can justify spending 10, maybe 15 quid more on the privilege of instant loading? Actually, I think they did change it. I'm pretty sure it's got a nice, smooth, clean fade in and out effect. That's probably about it. First day target score, get to level 10 or make it Klax. Sorry, not make it X. Second opinion, though a fine game in itself, nothing has been done to take advantage of the console's special features. A real pity. It could have made a good game great. The verdict: graphics 78%, attractive and functional with just a hint of style. Sonic 68%, excellent spot effects spoiled completely by that tune. Grab factor 89%, instant addiction helped by simple gameplay. Staying power 84%, so much to see and do, especially with the bonus options. Rating 78%, just the same as the tape version. It's a great game, but poor value. Okay. I guess we'll have to have a look at it. So I'm pretty sure it's at least got the fade effect. I don't know about colours. We'll soon find out. Right. Pause at the start off this time. Don't minimise it. Right, what are we doing? Pushing buttons. Push the right button helps. Okay. Here we go. Please select a wave. Is that wave 1? Thank you. Klax wave 1. You must do 3 Klaxes. Klax 3 tiles in the same row, colour in a row. Let's get 5 Klaxes. The pedal can hold up to 5 tiles. Ah. Oh god. That gets out of hand really quickly. That's only stage 2. God. Trying to get too fancy here. Yeah, fade in and out effect. That's what they added. There we go. Diagonals. Let's get 3 diagonals. 4 in a row. Klax counts as 2 Klaxes. We have to get diagonals. Right. Points way. You must get 10,000 points. 2 diagonals will do that. Got 6 different colours to start with, huh? Oh. Whew. Let's get 40 tiles. Drop meters cleared at warp screen. Get me yellow. A bit background's gonna be yellow for ages. Oh. Oh, we can continue. We can at least continue. There it is. Give it to me this time. Too late. Okay, it gets hard quick. Damn it. No. Oh yeah, that's Klax. It's basically the same as the first game, as the original tape disc version, only pretty colours. Anyway, we'll move on. Alright, next game. It's Tintin on the Moon. Infogrames, $24.99. Cartridge. Remember Tintin, that lovable little rascal with the stupid dog and the ridiculous quiff? A few minutes of cartoon preceded by a 10-minute explanation of what happens in the previous episodes? The diabolical game we reviewed on the CPC quite some time ago? Infogrames' rather odd license finally makes it onto cartridge, but will instant loading and enhanced hardware features make any difference? Tintin is a pretty unlucky little chap. While most boys his age are playing footy or snogging girlfriends, Tintin is getting into scrapes with vicious criminals. This time things are even worse than usual. Tintin is about to be launched into space on a perilous mission to the moon. The evil Colonel Boris has planted bombs on Tintin's rocket and taken several people prisoner. Your job as Tintin is to rescue all these prisoners and to defuse the bombs. The game starts you flying a rocket into space and into the game starts with you flying a rocket into the screen and into deep space. The object of this section is to avoid the asteroids and pick up the energy restoring crystals. You must collect 8 red crystals to continue on to the next stage. Once all 8 red spheres have been picked up, Tintin suddenly finds himself out of the driver's seat and in the midst of the action. Guide Tintin through a platform-filled screen, defusing bombs and rescuing prisoners. Instead of jumping, Tintin has the ability to turn off the ship's artificial gravity, allowing him to float to otherwise inaccessible platforms. On his way around the many screens that make up the rocket, Tintin will have to put out a number of fires. First he has to find the extinguisher. This extinguisher can also be used as a weapon against the baddies roaming the rocket. To complete this level, Tintin has to put out all the fires, rescue all the prisoners, and capture the dastardly Colonel Boris. Boris is a tricky guy to recognise, never mind capture. When you do spot the shifty-looking sucker, you have to sneak up behind him and jump him. Tintin obviously has no sense of honour or fair play. Still, Boris is a nasty crim and he deserves whatever he gets. The final section is the moon landing. In this bit, you have to regulate the speed of the rocket's engine and ensure a safe and smooth landing. If this section is handled well enough, you should plop down on the moon's surface quite nicely. All of your remaining energy at this point will be converted into score, and now you can do it all over again. The main problem with Tintin, and you might think it is a minor niggle, is that it is duff. The game has very few saving graces. In fact, its only good point is a nice intro sequence, which is well drawn and nicely animated, and completely misleading. The gameplay is mind-numbingly tedious, the first section being a bore of truly historic significance. In fact, the first section is simple to the point of stupidity, and serves only to delay the start of the actual game. Once reached, the limitations of the platform section soon become evident. The whole rocket section seems pointless and dull, and is very easy to complete. The presentation graphics are lovely, and so it is a disappointment to discover the actual game screens. The graphics on all levels are chunky, garish, and very confusing. The price point of 25 quid is outrageous, especially for a game which shows no noticeable improvement over its tape-based predecessor. This program should be avoided at all costs. First day target score, complete the game! I think the game's easy too. If I could figure out the platforming sections. Second opinion, Tintin had little to recommend it in the taper version, and even less going for it in cartridge. No improvements have been made, and consequently the game is as dire as it ever was. Verdict, graphics 61%. When they aren't bland, they're garish. Very poor for the most part. Sonic's 75%. Decent tunes and spot effects do little to improve atmosphere. Grab factor 53%. Limited interest initially, marred by pointless and frustrating first section. Staying power 40%. Dull and easy, a kiss of death for any game, especially this one. Rating 47%. If Tintin isn't your number one idol, then don't cross the street to buy this one. Whew. You have to look at it, since it's a cartridge version, there might be differences. There may not be. We shall find out. Stop it. Still got to capture the damn thing first. Oh, don't reset the... infogrames. English, please. Does this game need language? Use any words? Major intro sequence. Whoosh, off we go. Tintin on the moon. Alright. Missed it. That was right in front of an asteroid. I wasn't going to go for that one. Okay, gotta find the extinguisher. Oh, second button to do that. Okay. There's the extinguisher. I'm gonna put out fires, I guess. Where are the fires? Oh, don't jump, you idiot! Don't do that. Okay, nothing happening. Please, controls, please. Where's the fires? Where does he get a gun? Oh, we did it! Alright. Next section. Good. Oops, thank you. Thank you. Got the fire. Nothing there. Oh, can't do that, huh? Climb the ladder, thank you. Where's the any more fires? Can't pick that up, huh? Climb. Come on. Got him. Another fire just erupts here. No idea what we're supposed to do. Damn it. supposed to do? Can't pick that up. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Where's the ladder here anyway? Goes nowhere. Dead. Game over. High schools. I have no idea what you're supposed to do. Well, so much for being easy. The game just starts over again. Alright. We'll move on. We've seen it all before. Alright, next game is Dick Tracy by Titus. $29.99 cartridge. But expensive cartridge this time. There's trouble brewing downtown as well as the bourbon lips manless. There's trouble brewing downtown as well as the bourbon lips manless owner of the Ritz nightclub has gone missing, in very peculiar circumstances. Now Dick Tracy ain't gonna shed no tears for lips. After all, he's as big as a hood as they have come. But if he doesn't make an appearance soon, all the other gangsters will be fighting over his territory, and that spells trouble. What's more, Dick's name has been inscribed in bullet holes on the wall. Looks like it could be something personal. So Dick sets out, hot on the trail of the missing mobster. The first place to visit would logically be the Ritz, that last place that Lips was seen alive. However, someone wants to keep exactly what happened a secret, and Dick's journey isn't going to be an easy one. The gangsters are out in force, and they ain't scared. The good news is that Dick is armed with a machine gun and a revolver. The bad news is that he neglected to bring any bullets with him. Schmuck. The baddies are either unarmed, carry pistols, or machine guns. Knock out an armed baddie and can nick his ammunition. This is how Dick replenishes his supply, as well as the guys he'll meet on the street level. Others take pot shots at him high up from windows and on top of buildings. Dick is dressed in brightly coloured garb that's made him famous. The whole game, in fact, is bright and colourful. The animation's a bit dodgy, though, with Dick waddling rather than walking his way through the game. Dick Tracy is a tough game, but not because of cunning traps or well-designed stages. It's far more to do with gameplay flaws than anything else. For a start, the system to switch Dick's weapon is clumsy. Down and fire 2 need to be pressed simultaneously to change. The problem is that in the heat of battle it's difficult to do without coming to a sticky end. Shooting other gun-wielding guys you come across on the sidewalk doesn't usually present a problem, just duck down and as soon as you see them and shoot them. But people that lean out of windows and from top of buildings present a rather more formidable problem. They fire at you constantly. To shoot them you have to be at an angle of about 45 degrees. It's inevitable that you get shot at least once in your efforts to pump them full of lead. Revisit the same area after the screen's scrolled and all the baddies you've already killed reappear in the same place. Now, there's no reason to retrace your steps, but should a goon get the better of you and you spent sprawling backwards, you do have to watch your bullet supply too. Waste them and it could be terminal. These places where you supply simply need firepower, and if you're out of ammo, you may as well switch the machine off and start again. Especially annoying if you got a long way into the game. All these points are forgivable in isolation, but added together, they make the game incredibly frustrating and very tedious. It's unfairness rather than any lack of skill on the player's part that stops you getting anywhere. There's no excuse for such poor game design. Dick Tracy is more in common with the film than just the name. It too is mediocre and fails to live up to the hype. First day talent score, get to the Ritz. Second opinion. It looks great until you play it. And the enhanced hardware has been used to produce some excellent sprites and scrolling, but the gameplay is dull and control is fiddly. The verdict. Graphics 76%. Nice and colourful graphics, let down by poor animation. Sonic 70%. Little to choose between the sound effects and rather grim music. Grab factor 69%. Initial impressions are good. Dick Tracy is recognisable and easy to control. Staying power 47%. Poorly thought out game design makes it for a frustrating time. Rating 52%. Dick Tracy doesn't play well and isn't going to keep you coming back for more. I've got to set this up now. Pause. Wait. Get this all set up. Volume down a bit. I've got to use Retro Virtual Machine for this for some reason. Sprites have issues in MAME for reasons. Titus presents Dick Tracy. Sound effects, music. Oh, right, got it. Punch. Oh! Punch him! Okay, gun. Oh. Oh, got him. Oh, good, you gotta stand up to shoot, really? Gun. Machine gun. I gotta get close enough to him. There we go. Hit him. Well, I can't hit him with that, huh? Game over. All the way back you go. Oh, do it again. God, this guy's... Oh, jeez. Okay. We're running out of ammo here. Got ammo. Good. Ritz. Oh. Bum, 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 bum. Game over. It scrolls all the way back. As to tell you, you're gonna have to do it all over again. Oh. One last go. Oh, wrong button. I'm in the wrong button. Oh, God, like this just popped in out of nowhere. Oh, God, just stop it, stop it, stop it. You have a quit button. Yeah. You hit you in the back and you blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's awful. Try it again. Oh, the wrong button again. Oh, God, again. Ow. Oh, what? This guy's awful. Well, it did. Pretty much. Yeah. Ah. Leave it at that. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the end of all the reviews. You got cheat mode. Another truckload of games are busted open by top cheat Uncle Phil. A Dizzy collection. Garfield's big fat hairy deal, not to be left behind in the flood of cheats. Milford's Garrett Flynn deals Garfield, the newspaper hero, and feline bon viveur, a sound poke in the serious attempt to stop him falling asleep on the job. Strider 2, the tape version of Strider 2, the continuing story of a multicoloured acrobat who always manages to be pushing up daisies before he gets to the end of level 1. Was that just me? Stephen Trooper from King's Lynn, House of the African Violet, is dealt a deadly blow with infinite lots of stuff. Leave out the lines you don't want. Operation Hanoi, over to the Far East now, getting to be a bit of a geography lesson for Operation Hanoi. Nothing wrong with global conflict, so long as it's somewhere else. Graham Smith, Street's answer to General Schwarzkopf, picks up sand on the liberated beaches of Hanoi on sea. F1 Tornado, continuing the theme of war in the air, comes a poke from Andy Price down, up, and Dunstable. He quite likes F1 Tornado apparently. I think he said it was his favourite game at the moment. And just to see fair play is provide you with invulnerability. Operation Hormuz. Topical little poke here. Yes. From Graham for Operation Hormuz. It's in the Gulf. Come on, keep up. The war in the Gulf may be over, but war on the CPC is never ending. And Infinite Harriers certainly wouldn't be a bad idea this time round. The Great Oliver Cheats. Due to the sudden re-release of lots of Oliver Twins games in the guise of Codemasters Quattro compilations, requests from people foiled by Flip and Andrew's cunning built-in cheats, which incidentally were never meant for us, and a bit of prompting from Carl Surrey. Here is a compilation of the Great Oliver Cheats. Any mention of padding with old stuff, and heads will roll. Callipede, at any time press delete to pause the game, then press A6P. Andrew and Philip, get it? Together for extra lives. Clear to restart. Super Robin Hood. At any time during the game, press the keys A6P together and you'll get called a cheat. Before the sign disappears, press and keep pressed E for extra energy, K to start the lifts, or H to collect hearts. The border changes colour, so you know you've cheated. Ghost Hunters. At any time during the game, press delete to pause. A sign saying pause mode active will pop up. Type complex and the pause screen will disappear. Then pressing different keys on the keyboard will move location. Pressing space will resume play and top up your energy. Advanced Pinball Simulator. Press P to pause the game, then type Henley. The game will automatically restart on the final letter, and you can then manipulate the ball with the keys X, C, and J. Fantasy Wheel Dizzy. Press down the keys Dylan and space to start the game. And then once again pressing C will enter the cheat mode. Z, X, K, and M will move location. Space resumes the game. Dizzy. Well, this is a bit awkward. On the title screen, press space to start the game, keeping your finger on space. Press Q to quit, continue keeping your finger on space, and the game will restart. Then pause the game with P and type Trowbridge. After the last letter, Dizzy should disappear. If not, something went wrong. Use the keys Z, X, K, and M to move location. Use entered for extra lives. And use space to restart in your chosen location. Treasure Island Dizzy. On the title screen, use the keys QASCP and space, or joystick 5 if you're using the joystick, to start the game. Whilst playing, pressing C will cause Dizzy to disappear. The keys Z, X, K, and M will move locations. Space or joystick up restarts. Race Against Time. Pause the game with P and type in integral. You can then move location once again using the direction keys Z, X, K, and M. Sorry, X, Z, M, and K. It's to be different. Or the joystick. Restart the game by pressing space or fire. Hard drive, and a tip for hard driving from Stephen Matthews of King's Lynn. Take the stunt track, and then when you get to the big bridge, drive up to it slowly. When You get to the top, so right down until it says turnkey to start. You'll start to go backwards. Now look at your score as the points add up. That's cheating. Right, the Munsters, a couple of months ago, I promised you that you could have a poke for the Munsters. Well, better late than never. There just wasn't room last month. So here it is. So perhaps you can finish the game. So Sim City. Megalomaniacs prepare for a treat. Daniel Mahari of Margate is sent to give a few vital tips to ensure continued lording it over the residents of Sim City. Wouldn't you just know you'd finish it off by zapping the lot? Some people are just power mad. Total Recall. Colin Scrimger of Pitlochry has found a really first-class cheat for Total Recall and thoroughly deserves a prize for it. Type "The End is Nigh," including spaces, into the high score table, then pressing F4, F6, and a downcursor will transport you totally to the next level. Forget about Arnie, just ask Colin. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Cheats for Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles have come flooding in from all over the country. Colin Scrimgeour of Pitlochry, Stephen McClellan of Glasgow, Philip Dorr of High Wycombe, Kim Wan of Reading, Kevin Morgan of Darlington, and Rhys Evans of Clydach. To name but a few, whilst playing the game, press down the keys G0, 1 and Shift together, and the screen tells you the cheat mode is on, and then become invulnerable. Great cheat, guys. Alistair Stewart of Hurstmonshire, sounds foreign but it's in Sussex, has completed the Terrible Turtles game without the cheat. So if you want to know the best way to make those firemen suffer, that's what you get for joining the fire service chaps, follow Alice's solution. Prototype, the return of Anna. The Bullrog, the Sparrow Legacy, 450, disc only. By Ken Bond. Another brilliant adventure, great puzzles, good passer, and verbose descriptions. The Bullrog is still trying to recover from a rather freaky birthday party and never invited Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle. But undaunted, he still manages to bring you the latest news and reviews from the misty lands of adventure. Yeah, so the Sparrow Legacy is the latest game poured by that master writer of adventures, Ken Bond. As of all of Ken's games, the Sparrow Legacy is disc and text only with atmospheric text for strong puzzles. The start of the Sparrow Legacy starts innocently enough. You're sitting in the dining room on your small Muse college, listening to the Today program on the radio when a large package arrives in the post. Inside the package is an old-fashioned door key and two letters, one from some solicitors in London, and the other from your deceased Uncle Sparrow. Now things start to get getting interesting. A letter from the solicitor informs you of the reading of the will. It seems your uncle died in mysterious circumstances, but he left almost all his estate to you. This sounds great until you read your uncle's letter. You see, Uncle Sparrow was a famous magician who had appeared on TV and done many stage shows, but Sparrow's letter reveals his secret. His tricks were so fantastic and inexplicable as he used real magic. Sparrow's great friend was Sir Richard Maltravers, whose castle adjoins your uncle's to the north. The letter explains how Sir Richard shared Sparrow's passion for the magic, but succumbed to the dark evil side. Your uncle expresses a fear for Sir Richard and asks you to enter the Maltravers' castle to exorcise him. He warns you that this will not be easy. Richard will have set many magic traps, but your uncle writes that he has hidden spells, hidden so that Maltravers cannot discover them, which he can use on his own estate. This is your Uncle Sparrow's legacy. Oh, okay. Right, atmosphere, 82%, interaction, 70%, challenge, 85% overall, 89%. Oops! Last issue the Bullrog reviewed a game written by Bob Adams called Napped, except it wasn't. For some reason, Gru was missed off. The game's real name is Gru Napped. Sorry, Bob. Poor graphics disc. $6.49. You must send your original poor disc, but not the packaging, to be modified. Gilsoft. The Professional Adventure Writer is probably the best commercially available adventure creator system around, but is restricted as you can only create your games on disk, and they had to be text only. Until now. As Welsh Wizards of Adventure at Gilsoft have written a package that allows you to add graphics to your poor games. You can add graphics to any poor game which is 2.5K or more free memory, so the software patch has room to be added. Graphics are loaded off Disk A, like Magnetic Scrolls or Adlan, so that you can still use nearly all the memory for writing the adventure proper. The graphic window can be anything from 2 lines up deep to 20, to give you an idea. GAC's graphic screens are 17 lines deep. Unlike GAC though, the graphics must be drawn using an art package such as Advanced Art Studio. You could also use Gilsoft's Illustrator package. Graphics and text are displayed in the Amstrad's 4-color 40-column mode 1. Unfortunately, this is the only mode possible, and there is not a split mode. Oh no. Poor graphics is a great idea, but it's a shame that more thought was not put into it. Compressing the graphics and allowing text to scroll until the graphic window would make the package a lot better. News. Watch out, 007. Topologica has announced that they will be releasing a new adventure title in the autumn. This will be the long-promoted Spy Snatcher by John Thackeray and Jonathan Partington. Price around $14.95 including VAT and available for both CPC and PCW. Disc only. The theme is obviously inspired by Peter Wright's book, Spycatcher. Review will appear as soon as it is released. For further details, ring with facts, Brian Kerslake. Recreation is the name of a new company created by Mark Eltringham to market some of the mini games that were released at the moment. Mark has 4 games to start with and is hoping to expand this list soon. The games are Amstrad, a re-release from way back in 1985, and according to Mark, this game will become the flagship of Recreation. It's meant to be that good. £2.50 tape, £4.50 disc. T-Land. The plot of T-Land is that you must buy a Smurf and ice cream. Weird. £2 tape, £4 disc. Castle Warlock. An interesting one this, and one the Bulg is keen to see. Castle Warlock is the first game ever written by Ken Bond. Yes, even older than The Island, so hopefully it should be good. Project X Microman is an old commercial release last seen on the global compilation Foremost Adventures. You play the part of a professor who has been shrunk down to a fraction of his normal size, and your quest is to somehow find a way to return to normal. The game blurb says, enjoy his battles against a giant mole, a swarm of angry wasps, and whilst playing, try and imagine what it must be like being his size, or even smaller like Paul Daniels. I just hope a certain famous magician's lawyers don't see that. 225 tape, 425 disc. Spellbreaker, Spellbroken. Spellbreaker, sister magazine to Adventure Probe, will no longer be published after July due to work pressures on the editor. Mike Brailsford. Spellbreaker was a great little magazine whose sole aim was to print clues, maps, and solutions, as well as the odd interesting article, and it will be sadly missed. Mike will, however, still be providing a back issue service, so if you'd like to see what you've missed, you can write to him. Tower of Light extinguished. In AA54, the Bulg reported on a new role-playing game from CRL called Tower of Light. Unfortunately, since then, CRL has disbanded and looks like the Tower of Light will never shine on the Amstrad. Graphical PAW. Those nice people at Gilsoft have decided to offer the Professional Adventure Writer and Graphics package reviewed this issue at a bargain price of $19.95 for Borog readers. It's £8 cheaper than the retail price. The review in AA28 said, Paw is flexible enough to suit the most ambitious writer. An excellent product, well documented and well worth buying. If you want an example of what the Paw can do, then look no further than Ken Bond's games, The Island, The Base, The Test, and The Sparrow Legacy. Don't forget the Paw is disc only. I've got a little coupon for it even. It's a clue sniffing. Type-ins. Inlay cards. If you ever wanted to keep accurate records of what you have on tape, then Stuart Clark of Sproaton in Norfolk has the answer. This program allows you to enter the titles of tape counter readings for audio tapes, outputting a neat tape inlay sized printout to your trusty printer. It's very simple to use and very useful indeed. No more messy scribbles on your tape inlays. Connections, also from Stuart Clark. There's a very neat version of the old stretchy classic Connect 4. The object of the game, which can be played by two players, is to line up a row of 4 counters. The rows can be made either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. The first player to line up arrow of his counters is the winner. This isn't quite as simple as it sounds, as the game could cause more than a few arguments. Happy playing! Yeah, here's a screenshot. Number Blaster. Number Blaster is a puzzle game from Steve Bennett and Woodhouse Eaves. The object of the game is simple. Numbers advance toward you from the right. You have a column of numbers on the left, which can be scrolled up or down using tab and caps lock keys. Press space when your number matches the one nearest you, and hey presto, it vanishes. There are a few nice touches, such as smart bombs and accelerating numbers. It does get quite frustrating though, so be warned. Morse. Interested in Morse code? This program allows you to convert any text into all those weird and wonderful dots and dashes. The program shows 3 graphically on screen, as well as giving off an audible signal. You could conceivably send correct Morse over the airways simply by holding a microphone to your Amstrad. It could also be useful for radio hams learning Morse. Thanks to Chris Summer of Solihull for this one. Wonderful. A great typing disaster. Oh no. Apologies must go to all those poor people who typed in the program Snake last month. Unfortunately, the program tried to access a file while it is running, and testing the program functioned perfectly correctly as the file was on the disk supplied by the author. In listing form, however, the file simply isn't there. Whoops. It's easy to be off the cuff about these things, but we do realise how much time and patience is required to enter these listings. We do apologise for any inconvenience caused. Steps have been taken to ensure that the same thing does not happen in the future, instead of fixing it or whatever. Disk Dock. This useful disk utility program comes from Zach Hurt in Bristol. The program is quite short, but it does have a fairly extensive range of disk operating features. The features such as erase and catalogue are accessed by a key press from a menu at the bottom of the screen. Troubles? Troubles what? What's troubles? Reaction. Welcome to another 4 pages of readers' letters answered by the Ed Rod Lawton. Sorry we can't print all your letters. We usually get about 4 or 5 times as many as we have space to print. Rest assured though that even if we don't print all your letters, we do read them all. Just a couple of tips if you're thinking about dashing off a line. Don't say, please, please, please print this letter, because it doesn't make any difference. It just makes Rod feel guilty for about 2 seconds. And don't include an SAE because there's no time, unfortunately, for personal replies. If we can help you, we'll do so in print. Boy, the gamesters fight back. In AA67, you printed a letter from Peter Skilton of Kent, implying that all games players are crassheads. I would like to put him straight on a few facts. 1. If it wasn't for games players, the CPC would have disappeared around 1986. If it wasn't for games players, Amstrad Action would go out of business. 3. And this one's for all you so-called serious users. The CPC is a games machine that can also be used as a computer, and not the other way around. We, the gamesters, are the lifeblood of the CPC, and it's about time we stood up for ourselves. Serious users like Peter Skilton are in the minority and are rightly treated as such. DJ Thomas Doncaster. Thanks for putting the other side of the argument. There is a lot in what you say. It's undeniable that the games market is by far the most powerful commercial force behind the continuing success of the CPC. While I wouldn't necessarily agree that both the CPC and Amstrad Action wouldn't be around if it wasn't for games, they'd both be in a far weaker position today. I don't want to start off debates about minorities though. People use CPCs for many different reasons, and we try to reflect them all. Oh boy, the console rules. In AA67, A Sugar from Glasgow said that the console games weren't worth £25 just because the graphics are better. I dispute this. I've got a 464, a 6128, and now a GX 4000. Although I have loads of games on the CPC, which one do I play on the most? The GX 4000. And I only have 2 games for it. The graphics are much better on the new machines, with them updating extremely quickly and without slowing even when there are lots of them on the screen. The sound too is improved. You sure on that? It's exactly the same. And with tedious loading between levels, which are also bigger and more detailed than your average CPC disc game. And so on the whole, you pay £10 more and you get £10 more game. Secondly, the sales of the new machine were disappointing over Christmas. I believe this was because there is lots of competition, and Amstrad didn't put it into people's minds that they must have an Amstrad. But also, the general lack of games is putting people off, who then go for the far inferior Nintendos and Segas. So once software shortages are sorted out and games reach shops like Menzies, Smiths, and the Virgin Megastores, sales will pick up. Lastly, I would say that the GX 4000 and Plus machines are the best around. They are miles better than any other 8-bit in the shops, and almost as good as the average 16-bit. Everyone who has seen my console was amazed, even my brother who owns an Amiga. I'm extremely pleased with my GX 4000. I think it is better value and overall better than a Mega Drive. So if you're thinking of moving on to 16-bit, don't just buy one of the new Amstrads. Trevor Johnson Ashford. I agree with you entirely about the cause of the poor console sales. If only there had been a proper software base available, when it was launched, the GX 4000 would have taken on the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Sega Master System squarely. As it is, Amstrad faces a long uphill struggle. I mean, they did it for the original systems. Got a whole bunch of games ready before it was launched. It worked even. Uh-oh. Traitor! This is your last chance, lovely 6128 people who I used to be a member of. I have mountains of 6128 specific magazines chock full of gripping 6128 specific info piled under my bed now awaiting the knacker's yard. Rockies, Amstrad computer users, Amstrad Actions, a veritable tome, and Mucho books at knockdown prices. Their salvation will be anyone offering 50p or thereabouts a copy. Buy in bulk, save money. The men in bright orange overalls will come to take him away soon, as the mice have no room for wrestling matches under my bed. All jokes aside, I have an enormous database of 6128 subjects, so if any of your discerning readers have a specific query, I can probably find a mag with an article covering it. I will send a list to anyone who phones or writes to me. I now own a PC and can be found lurking in the pages of PC Plus. Phil, my other computer's a PC Morley. Peterborough. That's outrageous. Fancy using your hallowed pages to flog off all your redundant gear. Mind you, that bit about being able to help out readers with articles and other info sounds useful. What about it, folks? No more tripe. I'd like to know why people can't stop wasting time in reaction with utterly pointless tripe. Take AA67. Is Alex patronising? James Grant. No, she isn't. There's many people out there who have not got a clue about programming, me being one of them, and Alex is teaching us how to use a computer for something other than games. Considering how often letters come in about AA turning into a games mag, I would have thought Mr. Grant would be happy that something was being done to wean us away from playing games all the time. 2. Watch that Coke, Peter Skilton. I'll stand my Coke wherever I want to. It's part of the fun of being a pinhead gamester, as you so eloquently put it. 3. Cover tapes, Stephen Friedrich. Every time a cover tape is given out, there's a bit somewhere in the mag saying, if all else fails, send it back and we'll replace it. So why write in complaining about it? You can't expect every single cassette to be tested before issue, surely. 4. Get serious, Stuart Hector. I'm sure if you could find a company dealing in serious software which is willing to let it be handed out free of charge, and the AA team will put it on a cover tape. But there is a limit to how good a word processor or DTP program can get, and eventually there will be no more releases as there will be no more improvements made. The scope for programs, though, is endless. So, the scope for games, though, is endless. Therefore, more games are released by publishers as demos. How do you release a demo word processor? No, 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 no. James Neal. See above. But I do agree with you a bit about competitions. Dolph. Lossy mouth. Thanks for backing us up, Dolph. We're trying to get some good serious software to the cover tape, but in many ways, all the best serious software has already been written. Look at Protext, Stop Press, and OCP Art Studio, for example. The trouble is that although the CPC was originally launched as an all-round machine, the fact that the IBM PC compatibles are now available really cheap, partly thanks to Amstrad itself, and that they are the standard Office and Serious machine, all the serious publishers are concentrating on PC software these days. I'm afraid the decline of the CPC as a serious machine is slow but inevitable. It's not the machine's fault or the publisher's fault, it's just the way the computer market's going. Who needs a Commodore? Nearly 3 years ago, I started a campaign for my parents to purchase a Commodore 64, a great machine, and you can't argue with that. Since August 1990, when I received my first 64, I've had four more. Since then, I've thought, what the hell? I'm getting an Amstrad. And what a fine choice it was. I ended up with a 464 Plus. Not one game has crashed yet. I love the machine, and I'm sure Burning Rubber is not far off 16-bit quality. I'm not going to jabber any more about this machine, but your magazine is superb, and it makes me proud to own a CPC. You have it balanced out so well, from Borog to Action Test to Typins to Free for All. Your staff writers are clever, witty, and know how to write with aplomb. I have agreed with all the action tests except for maybe the Double Dragon conversion. I found it a tad too slow and tepid. I strongly disagree with James Neal in AA67. He was unjust and boring to read. You lot down at Future Publishing do a slagging, don't you? Fraser Duncan, Dartford. Thanks for the support, Fraser. Even though we try our hardest to get the magazine just right, it's nice to be told it now and again. I want Iron Lord, even in French. I was particularly entranced by the review that you gave in the game Iron Lord in a recent issue of your organ. Inspired by same, I tried to force some poor unsuspecting software company to accept some of my hard-earned cash in exchange for the disc. After waiting some considerable time, I read that the game was not being released in this country. My question is in two parts. One, is there any technical reason why the game should not operate in the UK? Two, if not, can you please supply the name, address, telephone, fax number of a supplier in France who would be willing to help? Three, I like to delude myself that my rather basic French should enable me to play the game with no major problems. Graham Hindle, Great Melbourne. No, there's no technical reason why the game shouldn't work in the UK. If you want to get hold of the copy, you can ring Ubisoft in this country. There's no reason why the French version of Iron Lord shouldn't work in the UK. Ubisoft will supply you with a copy if you wish. Shredder, the facts. I have something to point out to you. In AA67, pages 14 and 15, Benjamin Yeo said that Shredder isn't a rat. The only rat in the film is called Splinter. Shredder is the lump of metal whose badly needs a can opener, so £10 would be very nice. P.S. I think your mag is awesome. Adam Govan, Belfast. I think the tools are a load of cobblers anyway. £10 would be nice if but you're not getting it. You're not related to John Govan, are you? Multi-format madness. I'm a 13-year-old boy with a craving for a good blast. However, it has dawned on me that certain multi-format magazines overrate Amstrad games, and in some places they vastly overrate them. For example, in a certain January issue of a multi-format games magazine, they reviewed US Gold's arcade conversion, eSWAT. They said, and I quote, one of the best conversions we've seen on the Amstrad with all the playability of the other 8-bit machines and well deserving of your hard-earned dough, 88%. So me being out a good game and loaded with dosh for Christmas, I decided to go out and buy it. Now, being in the middle of rural Somerset, finding a computer game that you want is somewhat difficult. So to my great surprise and happiness, when I walk into my local software emporium with £7 in one hand and a gleam in my eye, I see a pile of yellow and orange boxes. My hopes rise. I walk over there. Yes, they are US Gold. I have a look at the cover. Yes, it's eSWAT. I have a look at the stick on the bottom. Yes, it says the immortal words for use on the Amstrad CPC cassette. I promptly stack my hard-earned dough on the counter and buy it. When I get home, I promptly turn on the computer and load the game, and oh dear, what a load of donkey doos. Now here had I been an adult, I wouldn't have been so annoyed, but this was all my Christmas money spent on a dud game. And I could hardly take it to the shop and say, "Excuse me, this game's crap, can I have another one?" I'm sure that there are plenty of other kids in my predicament, and it wasn't just eSWAT, which was overrated either. One of my presents for Christmas was Turtles, and that too from the same magazine got a healthy 88%. Yes, I thought it had nice graphics too, and it was my favourite game until I finished it 2 hours later. Anyway, time to stop grouching. I love the improvements to the mag. Keep up the good work. James Ward Summerton. This goes to show you shouldn't read multi-format mags, doesn't it? Oh. Cover tapes, great, but I've got a 6128 Plus. As I'm an ex-owner of a 464 and a proud owner of the excellent 6128 Plus, I see now that there's going to be a cover tape every issue. A while ago I would have been pleased, but now my 464 is no more and I won't be able to use them at all on my 6128 Plus. I don't want to get a tape upgrade because I only got my Plus for Christmas and, as you say, it would void the guarantee. It would be a shame not to use excellent tape. I've been a subscriber for 2.5 years and your mag has taught me a lot. Please help, Jeff Scott Dunstable. You want the cover tape proggies on disc? Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, okay then. Yes, it's true. See the Action Pack pages for the full news. Brilliant. The AA Action Pack is now available on disc. Check out the Action Pack pages for the gin. Oh no. Look, computer games. Yeah. Free software. Yeah, I like free software. All prices for UK only. Overseas prices: Europe £5, rest of the world £7. To order back issues, use the subscription orders from a form opposite. No risk guarantee. You can cancel your subscription at any time. We will refund you all unmailed issues. Ooh, 10 great games. Yay! Oh, small ads. Space the Front Frontier. Draw objects in 3 dimensions. Place 1D, 2D, 3D objects in front, behind, or through the screen. Includes colour filters. £7.99. Ooh, fancy. And a PC 1640 competition. Afterthought. Holiday time. Yes, it's that time of the year again when we all go trotting down to the travel agents to book our annual summer holes. And this year we all agreed we're going to retrace our roots, go back to where it all started. Adam, for example, is going back to Hull for a week's fishing on the mud banks of Humber. He doesn't expect to catch much, though, except possibly some radiation poisoning. Frank, on the other hand, is going on a water skiing holiday on Loch Ness. And while he's there, he plans to drop in on one or two of his relations. Rod is going back to sunny Western Supermare, where the sky is always grey and the sea is always grey. The sand is a bit on the grey side too. Paul Morgan's going back to Birmingham for his holes. What are you going to do once you get to Birmingham? We asked him. Come back again, he said. Finally, we asked Paul Tudor where he's going. Where do you think? He said, nowhere. Someone's got to get the blinking magazine out. Right then, Paul. I want an F-16. Digital integration offered 25 F-16 fighter planes. Unfortunately, they're scale models, so you won't be able to fly strike missions over your school. Stick 'em up competition. A whole bunch of Lauriciel games were up for grabs, including the West Phaser light gun. Chips Challenge. A brilliant Sony Hi-Fi complete with CD player was the prize from US Gold. 10 copies of the game and 20 posters also to be won. Make sure you get your regular copy of Amstrad Action. After all, you're going to be well gutted if your favourite newsagent sells the last copy 0.0001 seconds before you get there, aren't you? To avoid this appalling possibility, fill in this coupon and snip it out or photocopy it and hand it over to your counter. Yeah, okay? Dear newsagent, please reserve me so many copies of Amstrad Action magazine each month, beginning with the July issue, out on Thursday, 20th of June. F-16 combat pilots, there will be moments when you'll wish you hadn't taken off. No one had the guts until now. Narc. Yes, we already saw that earlier. Winners don't use drugs. 90% in the one and 91% in CNVG. Wonderful. That's the end of the magazine.